And now it's my honor and privilege to introduce our trans elder. He's been fighting for our rights in Northampton. I've known Bet most of my adult career life. Bet Power has been fighting for everything. There were times when Bet Power stood alone and was ostracized by the entire queer community of Northampton because she was too radical to be allowed, and she survived. And now she is welcoming as an elder this Pride March. I think that's pretty spectacular. So let me just read her quick bio. Bet Power is the director and curator of the Sexual Minorities Archives, a national collection of LGBTI literature, history, and art since 1974, located in Northampton. He is the founder of the East Coast FTM group, monthly peer support for the full spectrum of masculine persons in the transgender community. Meeting continuously since 1992, ECFTMG was the first all-FTM organization on the East Coast. Power was also a founding organization of the NETP Pride March and Rally. Power has lectured on trans issues through the 5 colleges and will be speaking on 25 years of LGBTI history at the Dubois Library at UMass on October 20th. Mark your calendars, folks. Bet is a FTM transsexual who has chosen not to medically transition. His transgender story was published in Crossing Sexual Boundaries, Transgender Journeys, Uncharted Paths. Bet Power believes that the antidote to anti-trans discrimination and violence is transgender pride and transgender power. Ladies and gentlemen, Bet Power.
Hello and welcome to Trans Pride 2010. It's a beautiful day in Transylvania. First, before I get into my thing, I do want to say there's an East Coast FTM group meeting tomorrow, 3 o'clock Sunday, and all the guys here are welcome. Anyone who identifies as trans-masculine. If you want to, it's at 3 o'clock, it's my house. If you want information, come see me after. Thank you. On November 20th, 2005, at the Transgender Day of Remembrance in Northampton, I put out a call. I said, I've been in these Transgender Days of Remembrance, seeing and noting the deaths of us, our trans sisters and trans brothers, for 5 T-doors, 5 years at that point in 2005. Now we're at the 10-year mark of that. And I was sick of it. I was sick of it, and I said, I'm putting out a call to help me to make Trans Pride happen. Because that is the antidote to stand up in our pride to the violence that's being waged against us. So, thank you for coming. You know, this rally almost didn't happen. But I'm here, and you are here. I have not abandoned you. We will not abandon ourselves, as it is the agenda of some of us that we do. Most of my remarks today are going to be directed toward trans people. I understand LGBTI and allies are here, but I really want to talk to my people today. Because I think we need some talking to. You know, and we don't do it enough. I think it's perfectly right that we're on the steps of City Hall today. I just wish that this upper banner at City Hall displaying said transgender rights, September 11, 2010. But it's a symbol of our government. This stands for our government. You know, our government in this state right now is not giving us our basic civil rights. And we have no rights on a national basis. So this is the place to take it to. The symbol of our government. Even though we have a progressive government in this town, it's still a symbol of what's happening in the state and what's happening federally. And we need to agitate, and we need to come to our places of our state, local, county, federal government to say transgender rights now. So this is perfect.
Yeah!
Yes! You know, and I want to read you a quote by Leonard Cohen. This did not happen the way it was supposed to today, as many of you know. At first this week it seemed like a snafu, but that's okay because I state that this is exactly where we're supposed to be right now. And this quote from Leonard Cohen says, "Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. So the light is coming in today, and it's no coincidence because we have a beautiful sunny day with hardly a cloud in the sky. It may not have felt like it to us this week, but it is exactly as happening is exactly the way it's supposed to be. You know, after being a lead organizer of the first 2 trans prides and working on them with all of my heart and soul, here's what I'm learning and here's what I've observed. It was hard, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it was partly hard because we tried to imitate and duplicate Northampton Pride. We really did. We patterned it after that. But you know, that's not what we need. We're not in the same place as lesbians and gays. We are not. We've got to start affirming where we are at. We haven't had 40 years of struggling and marching as the queers have. You know, we're only just starting. We haven't made the gains they've made. We don't have vendors out there that can sell you transgender real estate or can sell you transgender jewelry or acupuncture or a host of other services. That's not what we're about. I'm talking transgender community. We're not ready for that. I wish we were, but we're not.
Tell it, Bet!
We're ready for what we have right here in this moment. This is exactly what needs to happen. A civil rights march. A civil rights march. Forget the commercialism. Forget the vendors. We are currently, in all my 60 years of my life, we are third class citizens. Number 1, first class, cisgendered heterosexuals. Number 2, because they struggle for it, second class. Unfortunately, and that's wrong, cisgendered lesbian, gays, and bisexuals. Number 3, in America, trans people, my people, they are killing us out there, and I'm sick of it. I'm a person who loves women. I'm a man who loves women. And when I see the list of transgender women, particularly trans women of color, killed every year, it is unacceptable. Transgender rights now! Transgender rights now! Transgender rights now! Now think about this. In addition to not having the movement bill that lesbians, gays have, we, for decades, have been labeled with GID, gender identity disorder, a mental illness in the DSM. 60 years I've lived with that. That's a lie.
It is a lie. It's a full-faced lie. Your identity clarity.
What are the impacts of that? What do you expect? A lot of us internalize that. A lot of us play that game in order to be able to transition medically. But what are the impacts emotionally, psychologically, spiritually to believing you're crazy? Fuck! We pay taxes. We work. We raise children. GID out of the DSM. GID out of the DSM. GID out of the DSM.
GID out of the DSM.
I have a life-threatening disease. I've had it all my life. It is called transphobia. It's inside of me and it's outside of me, and I want to get rid of it. That's why we're all here today, to heal this crap. You know, given what's happened this year, I think we need to make a new rule. A new rule in the transgender community. And that rule is, first and foremost, you are not in our transgender community unless you treat yourself and each other with the utmost respect and kindness. You don't get to be a proud trans person unless you respect yourself and other trans people. That's the new rule, and I'm laying it down right now. Right here, right now. It's time to take our own inventories, trans community. It really is. No one's going to do it but us. We decide to go to work. Roll up your sleeves. This is not a quote event. This is a civil rights march, and it does not happen unless you roll up your sleeves and work for it, like what happened this week.
Tell it, man! Tell it!
You don't get to be a spectator when it comes to your own civil rights.
That's
You don't get to be a spectator when it comes to your equality. You need to be a worker. A worker. Some of us leaders, I'm 60 years old. Some of us leaders who are 60 and over, like Leslie Feinberg, like Kate Bornstein, we are starting to become old and ill. Why? We're sick of oppression. We are sick of transphobia. It has sickened us. You kids, you children, you teens, you 20s, you 30s, you 40s, you 50s, and over, you need to take up the mantle. We're not going to be able to do it much longer. You need to step up and work. We need to pass trans rights legislation in this state. Yes. That's a fact. It is an insult that they keep putting in committee and keep deferring our rights. It is a fucking affront.
Yes. It is a fucking affront.
And you don't get to be a spectator and let Governor Scott do it for you.
Yeah. Yes.
You need to work with Governor Scott and do it as a community. What do we want?
Trans rights.
What do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Trans rights.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Trans rights.
When do we want them?
Now.
Will I see you here next year?
Yes.
Thank you. Happy Trans Pride.
Everybody, make that power feel love. Give him the respect he deserves. We have a community treasure right here in Northampton. That man right there brought us to where we are today in so many more ways than I can possibly